Warning, this episode is not for the faint of heart.
Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, SavageTechman. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. I'm joined with Amy and Jerry, and we're discussing here Halloween horror movies. Not necessarily my forte, but definitely Amy and Jerry's. So, Amy, we're going to start with you. And this list, by the way, y'all's list are in no particular order, and we're just going to talk about them. So, I'll let you begin.
Okay, I'll start with The Green Inferno. We just saw it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, at the theater. It was a very good movie.
Yeah. A group of college kids go to Africa.
Want to be protesters
to stop the digging up of the land. And so they all sign up and they get their shots. They do this, that.
And after their protest, their plane crashes in the jungle and they get captured by a cannibalistic tribe.
But on their way there, they're riding the boat to the island. And one of the guys has to use the restroom, so they pull the boat off to the side, and the girl and the guy go to the restroom. The guy's not paying no attention. All of a sudden, he looks down, and crawling towards his male parts is a huge tarantula. So he freaks out and starts shooting the gun and gets back on the boat, and everybody gets settled back down. And then a little while down the river, they see a cheetah sitting on the side of the cliffs, just kind of like growling at him and sunbathing. And then they get to the island, and that's when
one of the local guys told them that was supposed to have been a good omen.
Yeah, so engine failure. They had engine failure. Brutal, violent plane crash. Yeah. 2 heads are taken off by the propellers.
Yikes.
One woman ends up in a tree.
Yeah, because the back of the plane just came off and she got sucked out the back of the plane.
And everyone died except for about 5 of the 20 that were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the rest of the movie was, the 5 trying to survive.
They're captured by these
cannibalistic tribe.
I don't know their name. They didn't give them a name, I don't think.
No, but they're all painted up with red paint.
Yeah, they do this little thing with the 3 women that are a part of the group, and to see who's pure, and so they check to see who's a virgin and who's not. And the one that they find out to be a virgin, they paint her up and get her ready to...
They decide to do a female genital mutilation on her.
Yikes.
Because she is a virgin.
Yeah, so they still kept them all in a cage together, though, but she was all painted up and everything, and one by one they're eaten, cooked, and it's just awesomely terrific.
Terrible movie.
And scary.
And worse than The Walking Dead.
Worse than The Walking Dead, because nobody knows you. You don't know how to talk the language, and there's nowhere to go. They're everywhere.
So, Jerry, what's one from your list?
Well, I had that on my list also. Hostel. That was an awesome movie, because it had reminders of when I was stationed in Germany, similar type atmosphere as far as the actual town and all, and, the accents of the people when they, speak in English and all. So, and I've always loved scary movies, but that was basically a movie where people...
They were college kids too, right?
Yeah, but the whole thing is rich people pay this group of people to be able to torture people in any way they want to.
Kind of reminds me a little of Saw.
Yeah. But these rich people, actually, they bid...
They bid on the prisoners.
Yeah, so when the 2 main characters get tricked by these 2 hot chicks, they think they just want to be with them and whatnot, and then they lure them into the hostel one by one, right?
Well, yeah, what it is they the girls drug them while they're dancing in the club, and that's how they end up in the hostel.
So all these sick people, one by one, kill them. Guns, torture, sawing off body parts.
Yeah.
Just cutting into them. Yeah, cannibalism. Yeah.
One guy was a failed surgeon, so he's trying his own operations on people.
Kind of a Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes.
Yeah. One girl gets her eyeball pulled out.
Ooh.
And
good thing she had a spare.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it's punctured in some way, so she's left with it dangling.
Right.
And then the man comes in, the survivor of the whole movie. He comes in and actually finishes pulling
He
it
cuts
out
it
for
off.
her.
It's hanging by the retina or whatever, and he cuts it off with some scissors.
And serious pus gooey stuff going on.
Well, I'm not going to offer y'all anything to eat right now.
Yeah. But it's
Okay.
very, very good. People are crazy to think up that stuff.
Yes.
Hostel was also on my list as well, so.
Cool. What's one from yours, Amy? The next one that you
I
have.
would say The Descent is pretty close to my all-time favorite.
Is that where they go down to like a big cave?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's on my list also.
I wanted to see that. I almost saw it when it came in the theaters, but I
A
never
group
got
of
to.
girlfriends, they go out on the weekend. One of them has discovered a new cave or cavern for them to, what is the word?
Spelunking.
Spelunking, yes, to go down into. And so they gather all their equipment and whatnot. Some of the girls are married, some are not. One woman has a child. So that's all in the back of her mind, is her husband or her kid. They all go down, and eventually, one by one, they get stuck in the crevices. Some of the rocks begin to fall. One of the girls is hearing and seeing things.
Well, there's the bat person hybrid type creatures that are
Yikes.
killing them off.
Yes.
Wow.
These creatures can't see.
No.
They
That
smell.
reminds me of Jeepers Creepers a little bit. Those scared me.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But these guys here, they could just lay low, and then at one point the girls fall into this pool of blood and bones and whatnot. And the main character finds out that her best friend had been sleeping with her husband, so she really doesn't want to save her. Part of her wants to kill her and leave her behind, so you got that going on. And they came out. The girl finds her way out at the end, so it kind of left you hanging, though, because they were still chasing her as she ran out.
Yes.
So, and then it led into
Part 2.
part 2, which was good, but...
It was okay, but the police made her go back in to help try to find her friends.
Yeah, and it steered away from the storyline too, because there was something about a hole inside this shed or whatnot, so don't see part 2.
Yeah.
Wow. What's another one for you,
Okay,
Jerry?
this is 2 movies because the one runs right into the other. House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects.
The Devil's Rejects was Rob Zombie, right?
Well, they both were,
They both
but
They were.
The Devil's Rejects was actually like the day after House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay.
So it was a direct sequel, like within hours. And they both have great soundtracks to them, older music, and House of a Thousand Corpses, it has
The Crazy Family.
some animation to it.
Yeah.
You know, like almost early 70s type animation in between scenes, you know, kind of go from one scene to the other.
The characters are great. This is crazy psycho family. They get teenagers, bring them in, especially the young girls, and torture them and do whatever they want to with them. And there's a crazy, scary clown in it. But
Yeah.
Don't like clowns.
And Devil's Rejects is all about the family getting people for this legendary local madman called Dr. Satan to operate on people and, you know, just crazy stuff. But The Devil's Rejects is the family
getting
escaping from the police. The whole movie is them trying to get away from the police after the House of a Thousand Corpses night.
I don't know why that makes me think of The Hills Have Eyes.
yes, that's
Right,
one
that's
of my
a great
favorites,
movie, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I
remake.
actually-
I like the remake better than the
Yeah.
original, though.
And that was a scary movie, The Hills Have Eyes. That kind of freaked me out a little
Yes,
bit.
that was an awesome movie.
Yes, The Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses are on mine too. The Devil's Rejects continues on with just the father, the clown, he survives.
Right, Otis,
Otis, the son, and the sister, baby.
which is actually Rob Zombie's wife.
Yeah. Mother Firefly, she gets killed by the sheriff in prison because she had killed his brother in the first movie. And then one of the sons get killed by the shootout with the cops. And then Tiny,
Right.
who is the giant,
Right, with a burned up
with
face.
the burned up face, he's just left
He
one
pretty
in the
much
woods.
sacrificed himself at the end of The Devil's Rejects to save the rest of the family.
Yeah, so it goes with them running from the cops, and they kidnap this family of traveling.
Well, it's a band. It's a country band.
Yeah, so they give their help
Two
to.
couples that make up the band, and then their roadie.
Yeah,
guy.
one of them was Terry from Three's Company,
Yeah.
and we saw her in
And
Wasted.
now we can't watch Three's Company
Company.
anymore.
Yeah, so, and I think my favorite part of that, though, was they,
Ice cream.
Otis, well, that too.
Yeah.
Otis cut off one of the husband's faces, and put it on. Nobody knew
mask.
it as a mask. Wore it as a mask and run into the hotel room and scared everybody, even his sister and crazy daddy. That was like my favorite part.
Wow.
Sickening, I know.
What's another one that scares you?
The Exorcist.
Yes.
Because it was based on a true story. I knew it could happen to me.
There was the couple of pop-outs in the
pop
devil's
outs,
face.
the
Split pea soup.
when Father Karras, his mother, she creeped me out anyway when she would
Yes.
speak in her. What was it she was speaking? Was she speaking Italian?
I think so.
And she had a little creepy old lady voice. But then when the demon started using her voice to try to confuse Father Karras, that really, really scared me. I just can't stand voices.
Yeah, I refuse to watch any of those now. Because it could happen.
Yeah, and I had nightmares. I can still remember the nightmare. I woke up thinking that she was in the room with me, and all I could see was these bright flashing lights around my bedroom door, and I did not sleep for like 3 weeks.
Now you know I sleep with the lights on. But.
That's one of my very, very favorite ones because it just,
And I guess this could lead into the scene we were watching on your phone earlier.
Oh, yes. We did not like Exorcist 2. Cheesy. Exorcist 3. Don't even know the storyline for it.
But it has the scariest scene in the
all three of
world.
us can agree on.
And when the nurse goes down the hallway and that whole movie, when I saw it, I did see that one in the theater, and most of the time it was leading up to something, and then there was nothing.
Yeah.
And it would let you down, or it would just scare you real quick.
That doctor popping his head up because he got woken up they made you think that was going to be it.
Right. And there was just like ice in the glass, and it was melting or something, and that was the ice cubes are making noise. So she's freaked out a little bit, and she goes back to the nurse's station, and after the security guard has checked the wing, he goes away, and literally as she walks away, you're not expecting it, and this lady in what looks like a nun type of outfit,
pure white nun's outfit,
and she's got this long silver cleaver thing that's
almost like hedge clipper.
It's a surgical tool that I recall seeing earlier.
Very shiny. And I was literally in the theater. I jumped up, and the person behind me, I literally jumped up and screamed. And I think I may have left the theater after that.
Yeah, we actually saw grown men get up and leave.
Yeah. Because I was not expecting that. And it's to look at it now, it's still scary, but I would not.
Yeah, the whole setup for that was great because you didn't thought the spooky part was over, and then bam, it's like, it's not floating at her, it's just kind of just like
but
running
the way the robes are
pace.
flowing.
Yeah,
of course.
The robes flowing. She's like a nun/angel looking character.
Yeah.
Still don't know who it is.
Some of my favorite horror movies are the ones that kind of in the 80s that, Halloween,
the slasher movies.
The slasher movies. And
well, we have some of those on our list too.
Yeah, and then of course we get into the 90s, 2000 and beyond, and they're very graphic now. Even the remakes, they're extremely graphic. I can't get with some of that, but I'm more of a suspense kind of guy, but some of them are so ridiculous they're funny even.
Right.
There's different types of horror movies what's some more ones that on your list?
I've got next on my list is called Strangeland.
Strangeland.
Now this stars is written by and directed by Dee Snider of Twisted Sister.
Yes.
And what it is just real short. He's into the body modifications and just taking himself to the extreme. And turns out he uses as his online name Captain Howdy, which is Twisted Sister song about killing kids. And so he kidnaps teenagers and puts them in torture devices, and this is almost follows the Captain Howdy Street Justice songs. He's captured by the police, put on trial. They try to rehabilitate him, but parents won't have that, and they carry out their own brand of justice.
We're not going to take it.
No, they didn't.
I liked it, but not as much as Jerry did. It was at a time I think they were trying to just push and see just what they could get away with. So
yeah, some movies are like that. They do try to push the boundaries, and then you've got to scare, and you've got to top the one you did before.
Yeah.
What's another one, Amy, on your list?
I think my
horror
all-time
movies.
favorite, I'm going to have to say, is just Halloween. The original, not the Rob Zombie version.
Okay.
Well, the Rob Zombie version was
You
good
know.
too.
It was good, but yeah, I did see that. But yeah, the original one, Michael Myers and all that.
And I
that
love
grew up
Jamie
with.
Lee Curtis. She was
Yeah.
just the perfect part for that. She sees him throughout the day, but nobody else
Obviously,
sees him.
the Freddy Krueger movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one was very scary. Then after
Yeah.
that, they got kind of stupid silly.
But part 3 was the
Part
best.
3 was my favorite. I have part 3 on my list. That's the Dream Warrior movie.
I have
With
seen that,
the
yeah.
Arquette woman, not Rosanna.
Patricia.
Patricia Arquette.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's
And
very
then
good.
but then they even got ridiculous. Well, one of them was Freddy versus Jason. You know, because
That one, I like that
Friday
one.
it was okay.
I wouldn't put it on my list, but I did like
I
it.
did like that, but I would much rather have been Michael Myers versus Jason because those were my
Right.
starter films, my starter slasher films. So, but
Yeah, no Pretty in Pink here.
no, pretty easy. No.
And,
But Halloween's definitely great. The whole thing with the boogeyman. She's in a babysitting in a strange house. She doesn't have a car. She's hiding in the closet. And they,
I
No cell
remember.
phones yet.
no cell phones yet.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I remember, and I think it. I don't know if it was one of the Friday the 13th movies with Jason or was it Halloween. It may have been. It was probably Friday the 13th. But we had a couch that was by the window, which was by the front porch. Mm-hmm. And in the movie, they had that in. He pulls somebody through the window
yeah.
or something. And
Yeah.
That was the end of part 2.
So, yeah, I could never. Okay, it was a part 2. Yeah, I could never like watch one anymore
but,
on
yeah,
that.
part 2 of Friday the 13th was really, really good.
Yes.
Because in part 1, which is one of my favorites too, you have not Jason killing, but it's actually his mother killing. And then
Yeah.
Jason picks up in part 2.
Right.
And I love the main character, the survivor in there. And
Halloween 3, and I think it was. I can't remember if it was
The
in
Season
3D.
of the Witch.
The Season of the Witch, and I don't remember if it was in 3D.
That
I
was
don't
not
think it
Michael
was.
Myers.
no, but it did nothing to do with Michael Myers.
And that's true, but I did see it. But the one thing, and I'm trying to remember, because it's been a while since I watched it. But the kids were out trick or treating,
It was all
And
about
there
the
was
mask.
some sort of a disc in the mask that would mind control the kids.
right? And there was something which is almost like Children in the Corner in a way, but different. But anyway, I remember them trick or treating. There was some radio station or something, and the radio.
No, you know what? Not mind
was that?
control. It was an explosive.
Yeah.
They were set to once the music reached a certain
Right.
pitch or whatever, it would just blow up all the
It was
masks.
I
Yeah.
remember that, and I remember that being kind of
3 more
scary
days to
one.
Halloween,
Yes.
Halloween, Shiny Shamrock
Yeah,
was the name of
that's
the
right.
company. Yeah, yeah, but it had nothing to do with Michael Myers. It was a good horror movie, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
call
it
it
probably
a
is.
Halloween movie.
Right. Yeah. So what's some other movies y'all got on your
All
list?
right, The Shining. And I've seen
Wow.
the movie many times, but only have just recently read the story, and it was just as good. Although in the story it described the wife as having blonde hair, but
Mm-hmm.
I always picture her having black hair because of the movie.
Well, the scariest thing in that wasn't Jack Nicholson; it was Shelley Duvall.
Yes,
Because the way she looked,
I know. Bless her
physically.
heart, she's not a very
but
attractive one.
I remember being, I want to say about 10 years old, and I stayed up late, and it was on HBO. And back
Right.
then, I'm old enough to remember when stations went off the air,
Yes.
but we had HBO, and I stayed up and snuck in the living room and watched The Shining, and it terrified me. Jack
It was
Nicholson
pretty
terrified
scary.
me. It was very scary, and I have not read the book, and I think it's probably one of the closest to one of his Stephen King's novels. I would say, or stories.
Not really. I think
No.
Christine, the movie, is dead on with the book.
Really?
But The Shining is off a little bit.
Okay, and I have not read the book, so you might know better than I.
I like The Shining, but it's not one of my favorite. I like things to
it
move
was
a little
just
faster.
it was just the madness, the little girls in the hallway.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
so many iconic things about that movie, and Jack Nicholson's portrayal. The "Here's Johnny," that
Yes.
was,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just how he went into that state of madness,
Yes.
and
Yeah, I do have my scariest part, I think, in that one, though, is when Jack Nicholson goes into the hotel room with, looks like a beautiful lady in the bathtub, and they start making out, and she just turns into this
Old rotten woman.
rotten, scaly, wrinkled up looking
Yeah.
woman, and it's
Yeah.
pretty scary.
Yeah.
yikes. That, for me, is one of the scariest movies of all
Yes.
time, The Shining. I remember watching, like I mentioned, Children of the Corn, and watching those. Now, they got a little, as you get on
Yeah,
the
they need
sequels,
to
they
stop,
need
It
to
gets
stop at a
old.
certain point. It gets bad. Probably two of my scariest that I saw growing up, well, there were three. Poltergeist,
Great movie.
That was a great movie.
Amityville Horror,
Yes.
which I refuse to watch either of them again, ever. And those were just truly scary movies. They just terrified the mess out of you. Mm-hmm. And it'll come to me what the third movie is, if I remember.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think we actually said it earlier, but I can't remember what you said either.
The Omen.
The Omen.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was
and then even
paid
the
up.
one where I think it was a sequel where he became the president and they blew the president's head up. I'm like,
yes.
that's what?
I walked into that being on, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's just pure evil. He was like kneeling at the crucifix doing something, and I just
And I'm
remember
like,
thinking,
ugh. You've lost me there.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I am done. What else do we have?
Insidious.
Insidious is awesome.
Insidious
I have
1
not
and
seen
2.
Actually, 3 was good too.
3 was good, but I think that the first two, because they were so connected,
Yes.
the same family, the father and son had the ability to travel in their dreams to the place they called the Nether. No? Was it
Yes, the Nether.
Yeah. And so you've got demons, you've got
All sorts of dead people.
all sorts of dead
Dead
people,
souls.
a lot of pop-ups, and then you got
Creepiness.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips playing in one scene, and
Yeah.
it's so creepy.
There's a little bit of comedy thrown in
yeah,
here or
there's
there.
the characters are great.
Sometimes you need a little bit of levity.
Right.
that way,
The
because
ghost
if you
hunters
don't-
are great in there. Yeah,
Yes.
they add that little comic relief, and but the things with the kids to me are the scariest. And the little kid running through the house as that song's playing, and he pops out, and just great movie.
What
All
else
right.
do you have?
Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, yes.
Out of all the zombie movies, that's probably my favorite. Either the remake or the original. I like them both. I mean, what better place to hole up in a zombie apocalypse than a mall? I mean, if you can close it up and keep it secure, you've got it made for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Then there's the Evil Dead movies.
Evil Dead. Oh,
But
those,
they're
I didn't even think about those. That's some great comic relief
Yeah.
and scary movies. Holy cow.
Yeah.
The remake, the Evil Dead, the movie
Evil
remake.
Dead 2.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of laughs in it. Because the original Evil Dead movie, they had no comedy in it, but Evil Dead 2 followed the exact same storyline, but they threw plenty of laughs in it.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters. No.
I've never.
That was a
seen
comedy.
Ghostbusters.
That was
You have
okay.
not seen Ghostbusters? Oh my god.
No.
You have to see Ghostbusters. But that's not real scary. Okay, what's left on your horror movie list?
The Conjuring and Annabelle. They go
Oh,
Don't
together.
tell Cheryl.
Don't tell Cheryl. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
Annabelle,
mention that
about the
name.
doll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think I want to know. I saw the
it's
trailer and
just
I'm
so
like,
much.
I'm good. I'm done.
Because it's there again, based on a true story by
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine Warren, the couple that do the paranormal ghost hunter type
Yes.
things. And they actually have a museum. You can go and see all their things. You can actually see the real
Annabelle
Annabelle,
doll.
which was not the doll that was in the movie. It was actually a Raggedy Ann doll.
Okay.
And she's behind glass, and priest comes by every month and blesses it. So all the just the creepiness of the demons and the doll itself and the pop-ups, and there again messing with the children and then
Yeah.
messing with the mother, and just awesome stuff. Too much to name in that movie.
What about Child's Play?
Oh, that
Chucky.
was okay. That was okay.
Those were
That
all.
kind of got played out.
They got very played out.
But something that just popped in my head
Bride of
that
Chucky.
Jerry and I really like is 30 Days of Night.
Oh, that movie was genius.
It was, yeah, you explained that, how that
Okay,
works.
that's so genius because 30 Days of Night is set in Alaska.
With the
And where would
vampires.
vampires thrive but in Alaska where you have 30 days of night?
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
And these vampires
Were so evil.
Yeah, they had their own language, and
I think I started watching it and then
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm done with that.
it was very,
Yeah.
very good. I think it's my
30
favorite.
day, yeah,
vampire
30
movie.
day vampire spree.
Wow.
Yeah.
What else do we
All right.
have?
Hills Have Eyes, the remake.
Hills
I
Have
love
Eyes
that.
remake, yeah.
They broke, what the family broke down in the middle of the desert, and just one thing after another happens to the family, and the baby, the part with the baby. I was so worried the baby was going to get killed.
I know.
And
What was the one where the wrong turn? I think it was.
Good
Oh,
movie
yes,
too,
that was
yeah.
a good one, too.
The first one was good, and then
Yeah.
the second...
We stopped
really
after
got-
the second.
Yeah, they got ridiculous after that. But I think I actually saw that and I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible.
Yeah, with kind of like the inbred people and.
Yeah.
And the lady was trying to escape out the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh yes. And another one that was
too
good
scary.
too that we didn't really mention is Cabin Fever.
Oh, yeah,
With
Cabin Fever.
it was on the gory side
Now
because
they did a remake of that. Is that
yeah,
correct?
I know they did a part 2 of that,
part
and
2?
it was at a
Okay.
prom
I
and it was
haven't
not
seen
good.
that. No.
But part 1 was good. There's a
Okay.
lot of gore in there, like
Yeah.
when the girl's she's in the bathtub and she's already been
Trying
infected.
to shave her legs.
She's trying to shave her
And
legs,
she's
and you
just peeling skin
hear
off.
the skin pulling
Yikes.
off, and
Yeah,
it's just awesome, gory. Ugh, don't drink the water movie.
yeah.
Interesting. So what else do we have?
Well, the one that kind of my first memory of watching scary stuff when I was in elementary school in the summertime at school, they'd have crafts and movies and snacks
Right.
and whatnot. And I thought, no, this is not dating me. I saw The Bride of Frankenstein in the gymnasium, and that was like the classic. I told you that.
I forgot it was in the gymnasium.
Frankenstein, and we
The
just
Bride of Frankenstein.
our last episode. Cheryl just talked about Frankenstein.
Yeah, the
Mary Shelley's,
Frankenstein episode.
and like I said there, she read Frankenstein. And we went on a trip, and she read it, and I was like, wow, I really long
The
for a
preview for that new
yeah.
Victor Frankenstein movie looks
Right.
awesome.
Right.
Yeah, we're excited to see that with Cheryl.
Yeah. Yeah, we will be. That's actually a horror movie we will go see. So.
Yes, and then you mentioned they have the TV show coming out.
Yeah,
the TV
she was
series.
talking about the TV show, and you can check it out on the last episode there.
I have one more I can add. That's not really. I could say it's my favorite, but it messed me up the worst. Another supposed to be true story, which you can actually find it.
Yes.
And happened in Texarkana, back in the. I think it was the 50s, maybe 60s.
Yes.
A lone killer. I wasn't. It came on HBO. I can't remember how old I was. I know I was under the age of 10. I wasn't supposed to be watching it. Of course, I stuck my head out and see it. He wears this pillowcase on his face. You can hear him shuffling his feet. The heavy breath going through there. So for years after that, I saw this man in my grandma's hallway numerous times. He was in my bedroom closet. He was, when I closed my eyes, he was there. I could not stand the breathing and the shuffling of the feet.
What about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Wait, she didn't name it yet.
You didn't name it. I'm sorry.
And the movie was
Town That Dreaded
Town
Sun.
That Dreaded Sundown.
She was
Oh, wow.
actually going to put it on her list, but I said, don't do that because you don't like the movie.
It just because it's not a very good movie. It's more like a kind of like a documentary kind of slash movie or whatever. But that was one scary man, and at the end, of course, they had to say he's still out there.
Yeah.
He's still out there.
Of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, I would say Part 2 is my favorite.
Mine too. The
That's
first
where he
one was
runs out of
good,
gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First
But
Chainsaw.
in part 2,
Hit her, Grandpa!
yeah, and they focus on eating the chili. Isn't that
Yes,
part 2?
the chili
And
cook-off,
it's made
yeah.
with the parts of the bodies of the people they've tortured, and that's just scary stuff too.
is.
Chainsaw.
All right. Any last movies here?
That's all we
it.
got.
That's
I
everything.
think that's all we
So-
got. Yeah.
What's your all-time favorite?
I would say Halloween.
Yours.
I really can't name one. I probably House of a Thousand Corpses.
I would probably have to say The Shining, just because it scared. It left such an impression on me, and all that. So thank you, Amy and Jerry, and for joining us on this very scary, very spooky Halloween episode.
Boo.
Boo! I never know how to end it. Goodbye.
That was fun.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast with your host, SavageTechman. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, listen to us on iTunes, see us on YouTube, be part of our Mixler chats. Thank you. See you again on the Geek Homeworld podcast.